Hello everybody. I want to just do a really quick video to show you how these different bases work. The reason we're studying bases is so that we can really understand how our place value system works. So I'm going to start with an example in base 5. And in base 5, we have digits just like we would in our regular base 10 system, but we only use digits that go up to 1 less than our base. So the digits that we're going to be allowed to use are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Think about our regular base 10 system. What are the digits there? We go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We stopped right before the number of the base. Here our base is 5, so we stop right before that number of our base. Now, when I make a number, it's going to have digits, like I said. We're going to start with what are called the ones place, just like we do in base 10. If we have a 2-digit number, then the next digit is going to be the fives place. Think about in our base 10, we go ones place, tens place. The next digit that I'm going to have is going to be the 25s place. Note that when I move from one place to the next, I'm multiplying by 5 here. Just like in our base 10, whoops, that should be a 5. Just like in our base 10, when we move from one digit to the next, we get something 10 times as large. Here we get something 5 times as large because we're in base 5. So my next digit, if I were to have a 4-digit number, my next digit, I'd have to multiply by 5, would be the 125s place. So for example, if I had a 302 base 5, what that means is I have 2 1s, I have 0 5s, and I have 3 25s. Well, that's 2 plus 0 plus 75. In base 7, or excuse me, in base 10, all those 7s are throwing me off. In base 10, this would be the number 77. That's how this works, okay? So I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to show you another way to think of this, and I'm going to do it with coins. So if you are following along, please get some pennies, some nickels, and some quarters to represent our ones place, our fives place, and our 25s place. And I'm going to add some numbers together. Okay. So maybe I want to take the number 302 and add it to 114. Here's how I can think of this using coins. The number 302 means I have 3 in the 25s place. So I would have 3 quarters. I have 0 in the 5s place, so I wouldn't have any nickels. And I have 2 in the 1s place, so I would have 2 pennies. And what I have out here down below represents the number 302 in base 5. Okay? I can also take the number 114 in base 5. So the 1 over on the left means I have 1 in the 25s place. I have 1 in the 5s place, and I have 4 in the 1s place. So let me get 4 of those. Okay, so I've got 4 of those pennies, 1 nickel, and 1 quarter. Now suppose I wanted to add those together. So I'll add it and do a total. So if I'm going to add my ones place, I'm going to take all these 1s and look at them, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1s. Oh my gosh, that's too many 1s because I can't go any larger than 4. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 5 of those 1s. Those make a nickel, right? So I'm going to trade them in for 1 nickel. So let me get rid of these guys. Trading them in. Those 4 1s made a nickel. and here's a nickel. Okay? So this becomes 1, and when I did that trade in, I carried a nickel over. That's what carrying does. It's when you just basically are trading in for a larger digit. Okay? Now I'm going to look at what I have in my 5s place. I have 2 5s. There's 2. And I'm going to look at what I have in there are my 2 5s. And I'm going to look in my 25s place. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 25s. So in base 5, this works out to be the number 421. Can I convert this into base 10? You betcha. Just look at the money that I've got here. I've got 4 quarters, 2 nickels, and a penny. So 4 quarters makes $1. 2 nickels is 10, and 1 more. I would have $1.11 right here. So that would be 111 in base 10. Okay. I hope that helps make sense of what these bases are doing. You can do this with anything. You could do this with base 4. Of course, instead of having nickels here, you'd have coins that were worth 4 cents instead of 5 cents. So what you might want to do is get some Post-it notes that are different colors and make one color be pennies and just put 1111 on a bunch, and then on another bunch put 4444, and then on another bunch you'd have to go 4 times 4 is 16, so 16, 16, 16, 16, and so forth like that. Let's do an example in base 2, just to be sure that we know what's going on with base 2, because that's kind of an interesting one. Okay. Here's what I have in base 2. In base 2, I only have the digits 0 and 1. Remember, I stopped right before my base. But my digits are going to work like this. I've got a 1s place. Because I'm in base 2, I'm going to multiply by 2. So this will be my 2s place. Again, I'm going to multiply by 2. This would be my 4s place. And again, I multiply by 2. That would give me an 8s place and a 16th place, and so forth. So in base 2, if I had the number 1101, that means I would have 1 times 1 plus 0 times 2 plus 1 times 4, that's a times, I'm sorry about that, let me fix that, times 4 plus 1 times 8. So 8 plus 4 is 12, 13, 14, 15. That would be 15 in base 10. All right. Kind of weird because we don't have anything bigger than a 1 for our digits. All right. Let's take some numbers and add them up in base 2. I'll erase all this and let's take some numbers. Actually, let's do a little counting. Erase all of this. Suppose I had the number 101 and I wanted to know what the next number was. Well, 101 means there's my right hand number. I don't have any 2s, and I have 1 in the next place, which is a 4. So 101 in base 2, let me write a column here, and another one for base 10. 101 would be 5 in base 10. Now, suppose I take another penny and put it over here. Now I have 2 pennies, but I can't use a 2 in base 2. I can only use the numbers 0 and 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those 2 1s and I'm going to trade them in for a 2. Let me put some digits here so we can keep track. So now I don't have any 1s. I have 1 2 and I have 1 4. In base 2, this would be the number 110. In base 10, I take 4 times plus 2. Oh, that's 6. That is the next number. What happens if I want to count a little more? Now I'll bring a 1 down. Now I have a 4, I have a 2, and I have a 1. So in base 2, the next number would be 111. And when I look at what I have as far as my coins, I have 4 plus 2, that's 6 cents, plus 1 more is 7 cents. Let's go to the next number and see what happens. I'm going to pull down another 1. Oh, I can't have 2 of them, I can only have 1. So I'm going to take these 2 here, these guys, and I'm going to trade them in for a 2-cent piece. Oh, but I'm not allowed to have 2 2-cent pieces either, so I've got to trade them in. When I put those in, I get a 4-cent piece. Oh my gosh, I'm not allowed to have a 4-cent piece either, so I've got to trade them in and get a 16-cent piece. Oh no, 4 times 2 is 8. I'm sorry, this should be an 8-cent piece. I'm so sorry. These should all be 8s, not 16s. I hope that doesn't mess you up. Let me know in class if it does. Okay. All right, so what do I have in base 2? I've got a 1, or a 0, a 0, a 0, and a 1. That's what the number would be in base 2. In base 10, I have 8 cents and nothing else. So this is 8 cents. You see how I'm counting up here? All right, let's do another example. I'm going to get rid of all of this, and we're going to do some addition. In base 2, let's take the number 1, 0, 1, 1 and add it to the number 1, 1, 0, 1 and see what we have. So that means I need an 8-cent piece, not a 16-cent piece. I need no 4-cent pieces. I need a 2-cent piece. And I need a 1-cent piece. So this is the number 1011 in base 2. Looking in base 10, we can see that would be 8, 9, 10, 11. That would be 11 in base 10. Now let's look at the number 1101. There's the 1 on the right, which is an 8, not a 16. Then I would have one of these guys, that's a 4. I don't have any of the green guys, but I have one of the black guys. Okay, let's add these together. When I add these together, those 2s, I can't have 2, so I've got to trade them in. I'm going to put them back. They're equal to one of these. So far I know I have 0 here because I traded it in. But the 2s, I have 2 of them, so I've got to trade them in, put them back, and pull out one of the next ones, which is a yellow. So in this place I have 0. Oh, I can't have 4 of these, so I'm going to put 2 of them back and trade it in for the next one, which again is an 8. Okay, but I've got too many of these, so I'm going to trade them in. And the next one that I would have is a 16, so I'm going to put that right there. So I didn't have anything here after I did those tradings. I've got one of these and I've got one of these. So this number, when I add these together, would be 1, 1, 0, 0, 0 in base 2. How does this work in base 10? Well, we figured out that this one was, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11. This one in base 10 was 11. This one in base 10, let's see, that would be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This would be 13 in base 10. And if I add these together, that would be 26. What do I have here? 16 plus 8 is 20. Oh, 24. I can't add. Oh my gosh. And when I add these in my base 2, 16 plus 8 is 24. So yeah, it worked out for me. Okay, let me know if this is making sense. If not, we can talk a little bit more. Okay, all right, bye-bye. Thank you, bye-bye.